Hello and welcome to Flavours of Africa. I'm Doris Ufoegbune.
And as always, I'm Kevin Ufoegbune.
We have a great show for you today, our wonderful viewers. What makes it special? Well, we have also a wonderful guest coming to talk to us about the issue that has been gaining attention in schools, in the workplace, in our society, you name it, it's everywhere. And that's the issue of bullying.
That's right. I mean, bullying, it's sort of being brought to the forefront. You notice over the weeks we're sort of alerted to the news and to the topic of bullying. It's in the classrooms, it's in the workplace. Unfortunately, it's everywhere, and it's also been transformed. It's also in social media. Now we see it on Facebook, on Twitter, on through the cell phones and things like that. And I think that, it's such an interesting topic, because we have to really look at bullies, and we have to look at how parents are sort of bringing up their children and child rearing. It's important for parents to pass on, positive reinforcements to the children. Otherwise, bullies are going to grow up. People are going to grow up and turn into bullies. They're going to have a low sense of, a lack of dignity and things like that. So it's really important that we sort of empower our children, and I think that's one step that we can take towards eliminating bullying.
So is it fair to say that socialization plays a very significant role in the way our children act and behave?
Well, I personally would say so. From what I've read, I understand that it's important for parents to pass on those positive reinforcements for their children, so that they will also be able to combat bullying when they become a target of it. And at the same time, when they give their children positive reinforcements and they tell them that they're worthy, they're less likely to become bullying, from what I understand. So hopefully the representative from the Red Cross will be able to tell us a bit more about bullying. And of course, on Flavours of Africa, we have a delicious dish that we're going to make today.
Awesome. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to tell you about our dish. And, it's one of those dishes that you make during holidays, whether it's, any celebration, I should say. So please stay tuned. When we come back, we'll show you our dish.
More coming up on Flavours of Africa. Welcome back to Flavours of Africa. Today we're taking a look at the issue of bullying and how it affects society today. And joining us is Angela Clifton from the Red Cross. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so I work for the Red Cross in the Violence and Abuse Prevention Program, and I deal mainly with youth. So we go into schools and we deliver programs, prevention education, mainly in bullying and harassment, healthy youth relationships, child abuse and neglect, so things like that. So that's basically what I do at the Red Cross.
Interesting. And so how do we exactly define bullying? What's the definition of bullying?
Bullying is any cruel, intentional, negative behavior that can be hurtful towards others. So somebody's usually using their power in a negative way against a person or a group of people.
Interesting. So what exactly makes people, turn into bullies and become so toxic?
Yeah, so people can bully for many different reasons. So somebody might be using it because they feel that's the only way they can control their situation. Sometimes they can kind of come from aggressive situations or from not a good home life, and then they don't have the coping skills. So when they get into another situation, then they kind of use their power or that those feelings in a negative way.
And who, you say that they use their power in a negative way, and they sort of, because of where they come from and things like that. So who do they choose as their targets when they bully?
They choose people that usually have a distinctive quality about them. So they stand out from the group in a particular way. So this can be the way they dress, whether they have glasses or they don't have glasses, their height, their weight, their size, things like that. What's really important when we go in and we teach this prevention education for the Red Cross is that we're not telling the person who's targeted to change. So we're not saying, well, we need to take away your uniqueness so that you fit in. We want to change the bullying behavior and help kids to understand what they can do to intervene and that they have the power to kind of change the situation.
So it's, you've mentioned that it's a power thing. You know, the bully wants to show, or bullies want to show that they're very powerful. So having said that, where can we find these bullies? Where do they reside, if I may use the word?
Well, bullying happens everywhere. So we see it mainly in the schools because youth spend so much time in the schools. We also hear of it happening on the buses. Anywhere that they play, so the neighborhood, parks, things like that. It's also starting to really come into the home via the computer and now the smartphones and the use of technology. So what used to happen at schools, and then you come home and you kind of have a safe haven, now it's coming in over Facebook, over Twitter, things like that. So there's really no place to escape it now because it takes so many forms.
And so I'm asking, what kind of advice would you offer to somebody that's being bullied? I know that you said that you wouldn't try to take away their uniqueness. So like, how would you sort of empower them to keep that uniqueness, but still avoid being a target of bullying?
Advice I would give if someone was being targeted by bullying, number one is that you want to be assertive and you want to be calm. You want to use your voice and stand up for yourself, but you don't want to get physical. So you never want to take the behavior that's being exhibited on yourself and then turn around. And so things like physical, you wouldn't want to get physical with the person who's bullying you. What you'd want to do is you'd want to stand up for yourself. If you didn't feel safe or confident enough to do so, then you'd want to take it to an adult that can help you. So there's always a teacher, a principal, a school counselor, your parents, somebody that you feel is an adult that could step in and help you. If you're being cyberbullied, so on the internet it's a little bit different. You want to save every message that you get. You never want to respond, and then you can report it to the platform. So say if you get messages on Facebook or someone's created a group about you, you can actually report it to Facebook or block them. You always want to save the messages so that when you need to report it to an adult or the authorities, you kind of have that proof.
And I think that you really brought up a really interesting point with social media. I think that bullying is really transforming itself. It's no longer on the playground, or, well, it is on the playground, but it's also in different settings. So is this the reason why bullying is gaining more attention these days?
It's definitely one of the reasons, because it is now so constant in your life. It's also because over the recent years, there's been an increase in bullying, so it's actually been increasing. And another reason why it's becoming so in the eye of the media and things like that is because we're starting to understand from research where it's happening, who it's happening to, and what sort of interventions we can take. So there's a lot more understanding that's happening.
You also made a great point when you say that if somebody is being bullied, whether it's in school, that they could go to the principal or a teacher or anybody that could listen to them. But do you notice that sometimes people that are being bullied, they feel so embarrassed to tell people that they are being bullied?
Yeah.
What can we do as parents, as society, to make sure that if someone is being bullied, that they don't feel that it's their fault and that they can seek help?
Well, number one, one of the biggest consequences of being a target of bullying is that feeling of isolation and loneliness. So it is so prevalent. So you do feel like at the time when you're getting bullied that it's just you, that nobody can help you and this is happening to you and the world's kind of caving in on you. But it's really important to understand that it's happening to a lot of people and that it's never your fault. You've never asked for it. You don't deserve it. And so you should never be ashamed that it's happening to you. At the Red Cross, our prevention programming in bullying and harassment, we strive to do a whole school approach. So instead of coming in and delivering the program to just one class, it has to be the entire school. So we want the administration to be educated in it. We want all the teachers, all the parents and all the students of that school. We really want everyone to be educated and aware of the problem, and that's how we think that it's best going to be changed.
Very important. I really appreciate that point about the isolation and how it really affects victims. It really breaks the spirit, and we're so happy that we have an expert here to sort of talk to us and talk to our viewers and people that might be facing that in society.
Yeah.
And we do have more coming up on Flavors of Africa. We're going to talk more about the issue of bullying more when we come back. And welcome back to Flavors of Africa. We're still on the subject of bullying, and bullying has really gained attention over the years, and it's in the media today. And here joining us to speak about it is Angela Clifton from the Red Cross. And we're going to continue our discussion. What are the forms of bullying?
There's 4 types of bullying. So in the Red Cross program, we talk about physical bullying. So which examples would be punching, kicking, pulling hair, things like that. Verbal bullying is the second one. That's the most common type of bullying that people experience. And it's anything like name calling, things like that. The third type is social relational bullying. It's not as in your face. So it's things like gossiping behind somebody's back, spreading rumors or lies, isolating or excluding people from a group. And then the last one is cyberbullying. So anything electronic over the computer, the internet, smartphones, things like that.
That's really sad.
It is. And, you know, we have people that are watching the bullying when it's going on, and maybe they don't feel empowered enough to speak on it. What message do you have for bystanders?
Bystanders, it's really interesting to me about the bystander effect in a bullying situation, because 85% of the time that you have a bullying situation happening, there's a bystander present. And the people that are watching or witnessing might think that they don't really play a part, but it really kind of fuels the fire when there's more of a group situation happening. So what I would say to the bystander is that you do have a responsibility to intervene. Sometimes they feel like they're afraid that they're going to become the target if they step in. They might not know what to do or what to say. So again, back to the prevention education, it's key to tell them that there are things that they can do to intervene. And sometimes they also might feel like if there's other people that are there witnessing with them, that it passes the responsibility off their shoulders. And they're kind of waiting for somebody else to step in, and then nobody ever does, right? So what I would say to a bystander is that most of the time, if you do step in, so 57% of the time, if you step in and you stand up to say, you know what, this isn't right, and you try to stop the bullying situation, it'll solve the problem. Well, it won't solve the problem, I shouldn't say that, but it'll stop the bullying situation in 10 seconds or less. So that's how quickly, if you just stand up and you say, you know what, I'm not okay with this, you shouldn't have said that, that's how fast it can diffuse the situation.
But most of the time, people are not able to do this, especially in the workplace. You know, sometimes somebody's being bullied for the reason best known to the bully. And you see people, you know, forming different groups, isolating the person, the victim. It's almost like blaming the victim. And, you know, I oftentimes say, how can we find solution to this kind of, you know, behavior? Because if bystanders can help and say, no, enough is enough, you know, I think we'll have a better society to live in. But most of the time, people are not able to do that, especially in the workplace, because sometimes they're afraid that they might be the next target, like you said, you know, their job might be on the line. So I am always asking, what can we do? Because it seems like we are not doing enough.
Sort of on like a final note, what can we do as bystanders? What can we do if we're being bullied on a final note?
On a final note, well, if you are seeing a bullying situation happen, or you are the target of bullying, you need to use your voice. You need to find your voice and muster it inside yourself to say, you know what, this isn't okay, and you need to be assertive, because when you're passive, sometimes people can come in and dominate you, and you need to use your voice in a calm manner. You need to be assertive. You need to stand up and say, this isn't okay, I'm not going to support this, and don't feed into it. As soon as you give a reaction with your laugh, or if you're a bystander and you're smiling or you're laughing and things like that, that's saying that it's okay, right? So you really want to kind of control your emotions and not bring your emotions into it. And if it doesn't stop, I think people sometimes they diminish the seriousness of the situation, and they kind of say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you need to take it to someone who you feel like can step in for you.
Angela, in terms of cultural diversity and things like that in Canada, how affected are people from different groups affected by bullying?
It can definitely be a factor in somebody who is just coming here, say newcomer youth, and whether they're going to be targeted enough. So, like I said before, people who are targeted usually have something that stands out about them. So that can come in the form of race, ethnicity, religion, disability. They can be targeted because of that, because that's something different, right, than their peers. So it can definitely play a factor on whether they're going to be targeted or not. At the Red Cross, we do work with newcomer youth, and it's actually kind of a big part. So we've actually trained newcomer youth to deliver our bullying and harassment program, and then they go and deliver it to other youth. So we're educating them about it, and then now they're going out. I'm going with them on Thursday, and they're going to deliver it to a variety of groups. So we're educating newcomer youth about bullying and harassment, and they're going and they're educating other youth about it. So
absolutely amazing.
We would like to continue with this conversation. We call it hot topic. Well, we don't have
so much to learn,
exactly.
So much to know.
So that would be.
But for the viewers out there that are watching, where can they sort of access the resources to learn more about bullying or learn more about the Red Cross?
They can visit the Red Cross website. It's just www.redcross.ca, or they can visit their local Red Cross office.
Fantastic. Angela, thank you so much, for visiting Flavours of Africa. Thank you.
Perfect. And we have more coming up on Flavours of Africa. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Flavours of Africa. We're still receiving viewer mail from you, so keep it coming. You know how to reach us, Flavours of Africa at shaw.ca. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. As well, we have our website, flavorsofafrica.com, and you can reach us there for more recipe ideas, and of course, we're going to keep you updated on our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
So we've received one letter, and it says, from no name, the food looks delicious. Is Flavours of Africa going to open up a restaurant? How can we try the food?
Interesting. Well, we don't have a restaurant. We don't have any restaurant right now. We are Flavours of Africa, and when we are ready to open up a restaurant, we will let you know, our wonderful viewers, because most of you have been writing, asking us, where you can taste the food. It's in the works. So just to mention once again that we are not affiliated to anyone out there, with a restaurant. We don't have any restaurant, basically. So keep watching us, and once we are ready to open up a restaurant, you will know, our wonderful viewers. However, we have a catering business coming up, so we have a great team working to make this happen. And once again, tune in, because it's going to be an interesting venture. So you're going to love it.
With other events unfolding, Enablers. The
Yes.
Enablers organization empowers Africans to empower others. Basically, it starts with entrepreneurs finding ways in which they can help causes in Africa. So it's a wonderful organization.
Yeah, so basically what they are doing is that they are helping Africa, not just Africa, developing countries to become entrepreneurs. So it's a great organization. We've attended their gala, the first gala in Calgary here, and that was last year. So the gala is coming up again, and it's going to be on May the 7th. So please visit
Enablist.org.
Okay, to get more information.
Perfect. And with that said, well, we're going to cook up another delicious meal here on Flavours of
Exactly,
Africa.
we are going to do it. So today we are going to make a lamb dish, lamb roast. So we have our lamb here, and the best way to do this is a leg of lamb, and to do this you need to remove the bone. So this does not have any bone at all. So that's what we're going to do today, our wonderful viewers. And here we have our spices. These are special spices that go into making this lamb dish. If you notice here, this is one of the things that we use in all our African dishes, and that's why we say that we are very unique. You know, just because we are all from Nigeria or Africa, we cook differently. This spice was handed down to me from my mother, from her mother, from one generation to the other. So that's where we're encouraging you to see how you can, you know, make this dish at home, and also when you visit our website, you'll be able to see all the things that we have there in terms of spices. So you're going to love it. So to begin with, we're just gonna spice our meat, you know, generously. And this is what is gonna make it taste really good. And here we have vegetables. So we're going to stuff it and then roast it. So it takes about 3 hours to roast our lamb, because we want it to be tender and tasty. And you know what? We're going to eat it with potatoes, special potatoes. So that's what it's going to be. So this is how to, it's not like, sometimes people are saying, how do you make it, how do you remove the bone? And I think that's the difficult part of you know, doing this dish, but it's really not that difficult. You can ask a butcher to do it for you, or you can do it yourself. Actually, we did this ourselves, so it's not difficult. So once you put all this in, the next thing you have you need to do is to wrap it up, just like this. Or you can just put this inside and then use this to cover it, and then you can see it becomes a whole lamb. So that's what it is. And then you can bake it for 325 degrees oven, and for 3 hours, and then it will be tender. So we're gonna take a break. So when we come back, we're gonna put it in the oven for you, and then we'll show you one that has been roasting for 3 hours. And that's the joy of television. So stay tuned.
We'll be back with more on Flavours of Africa. Welcome back to Flavours of Africa.
Yes, so we have the lamb that we've already tied up to, ready to be baked. So to that, we're going to add some red wine, and then we bake it for 3 hours, you know. And so we're gonna put it in, and then we have one that is already baked for you, our wonderful viewers. And then we're hoping that you can make it at home. So just gonna
Smells
remove,
delicious,
doesn't it? So yeah, too much tying, eh? Just to hold the stuff on one side. So that's what it is.
It locks up all the flavor
Yeah,
inside.
I love lamb. You know, it's almost like goat, but
Yeah.
softer. They're in the same family.
It's true. We had such a wonderful guest.
Yes,
talking about
I
bullying
know.
and, you know, ways to empower.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Empower.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put this out, and just to cut a little bit to show you how it is. So that's what it looks like once it's cooked. So I'm just gonna cut another piece for you, our wonderful viewers. So
That's perfect.
here is the finished product, lamb dish.
And I hope that you do make it at home and tell us how it goes. Tweet us, email us your pictures, and let us know how you enjoyed making the lamb dish today.
So here is the sauce from the lamb. You know, we cooked it down with red wine. It's very delicious. You don't need to add flour to it or any thickening agent. Just to show you what it looks like. Well, this dish goes very well with potatoes, and we have not just any potatoes, we have different kinds of potatoes. We have this is my favorite, the purple potato. I love it. So it really goes very well with that, with the lamb dish. So please try making it at home and write to us and let us know how you enjoyed it. So
Even the potatoes smell delicious.
I know, it's so lovely, isn't it? Fantastic.
That's right. So make sure that you do tweet us, you do email us, flavorsofafrica@shaw.ca, and make sure that you check out our website. That's www.flavorsofafrica.com.
Yeah.
As well, make sure that you check out enablers.org. It looks lovely.
As we say in Nigeria, you know, this is good food. Enjoy it at home. Thank you, our wonderful viewers.
Until next time, take care.